I'm back in California and we're recording with some roosters. I would apologize, but I'm pretty sure he's saying peace is here. Hi friends, my very first Kickstarter is live through November 8th, 2025 at noon, and I'd be honored if you visited. It supports my new book, Peace Stuff Enough, which features several of the architects of Enough from this podcast series. And it's all about helping us keep our stuff longer and live a life of care over consumption. Just search Peace Stuff Kickstarter. Welcome to Pieces Here, the daily series exploring the architects of enough. Today we continue our theme, the social and systemic enough, by honoring Toni Cade Bambara. She believed that stories could hold both struggle and healing, and that resistance begins in everyday acts of telling truth. Architect of Enough. Born in 1939 in New York City, Toni Cade Bambara grew up in the energy of Harlem and Brooklyn. She was a scholar and educator, earning degrees in theater arts and English, and later teaching in community-based educational programs, including SUNY's Sikh program for underprivileged students. Her literary work, short stories, essays, and novels, was deeply political, rooted in Black feminist thought, community engagement, and what she called culture work. Among her notable works are Gorilla, My Love, 1972, and The Salt Eaters, 1980. Bambara viewed the creation of honest art as an act of resistance. She was an architect of enough because she insisted that freedom starts with the internal integrity to see and speak the truth of one's experience. This commitment culminated in her work to expose the psychological and spiritual burdens borne by activists, emphasizing the need for healing in movement spaces. She often said her job was to make revolution irresistible, not through violence, but through compelling language and art that makes people see and feel the systems around them. For an entry point into her thinking, deep sightings and rescue missions, fiction, essays, and conversations collects many of her reflections in her own voice. The Enough Reflection. Tell what must be told. Bambara teaches us that a true revolution, whether personal or political, is ultimately about sufficiency in action. It's not found in complex institutions, but in the simple act of doing the work with and for your community. She proved that when resources are few, the collective passion and talent of a shared community is always more than enough. Today, consider one task you are approaching with complexity, perhaps trying to do it alone or relying on expensive tools. Could you simplify the process by inviting others in or by using the most basic, readily available tools? When we trust in the simple, shared resources of our immediate world, we find our action and our art is irresistible. This tip reminds me of one of the Peace Tips from Peace Stuff Enough, the new companion book to One More Year. You can find it and follow the Kickstarter at avaskalfsbeck.com/Kickstarter. Pedro says, when Toni Cade Bambara was denied approval to teach a Black women writers course at Spelman College, she immediately taught the class herself out of her home for free. She invited anyone from the community, students, mothers, and bus drivers, to come, insisting that education and cultural work must always center the people. What stories am I silent about because they don't look pretty or because they challenge someone's comfort? What if today I gave voice, not to resolve the whole thing, but just to make the shadow visible? Words to keep. From her essay, What It Is I Think I'm Doing Anyhow, Bambara offered this challenge to all who use language. Words are to be taken seriously. I try not to be careless about what I utter, write, sing. I'm careful about what I give voice to. In a world full of noise, her whisper insists we listen, not casually, but with responsibility. If this daily message has brought you peace, please take a moment to subscribe and share this episode with someone who needs it. That was the life and wisdom of our architect of enough for this episode. If their story has inspired you to seek your own path to less consumption and more contentment, then please step off the treadmill with me. Let's learn from the architects of enough and discover together that for our planet, for our community, and for ourselves, peace is here. To follow my work, including the new book, Peace Stuff Enough, the entire Pedro the Water Dog Saves the Planet series, and the podcast archive, visit avaskalfsbeck.com. That's also where you can find the link to my current Kickstarter. Our music is Dalai Lama Riding a Bike by the talented Javier Peque Rodriguez. You can find links to his music on Spotify and Bandcamp in the show notes. Thank you again. Listen for the peace.